Now, she got 3 girls, a 12-year-old girl, a 9-year-old girl, a 6-year-old girl. And DFAC takes them from their home, their bed, their room, and puts them in a facility where now they are with strangers. They don't know where their mother is. Some people are telling them their mother's in jail or wherever. And they're now sleeping in a strange bed with, a bunch of other children in the room, and they're having to deal with this new world they've been cast in. Now, 6 months into DFAC, which DFAC is saying this is how you know that the system was not meant to protect or help children or help families in any way. And DFAC, of course, is the Department of Family and Children Services. You have these children there, and now DFAC considered the mother to be bad because she left the children at the house. But now DFAC is about to put these girls, or separate these girls, and put each of these girls in a home with people that DFAC does not even monitor properly, that DFAC has not even, in many cases, checked the backgrounds of, do not know the situations of. And so now they put these girls in these homes where, you got maybe a mother or an older person that is gets a check from DFAC for taking in these foster children for 6 months. And she may have males in her neighborhood, in her house, her husband, sons, whatever. And what you end up with is these girls being taken out of a safe environment and put into a precarious environment where they now, when we talk to the young girls at DFAC, we find that sometimes as many as 9, and depending on which part of the city that this facility is in, 10 out of 10. You're basically looking at 8 out of 10, 9 out of 10, or 10 out of 10 that have been, within the first 6 months that they're in DFAC, they have been molested or raped. Now, you took this child out of a safe environment, and you put her in an environment where now some male adult or some male teenager or whoever has violated this child. So clearly, DFAC did not help this child. They did not do anything good for this child. You also have mothers who have had to deal with the fact that their children are taken from them and put into the DFAC system supposedly for their safety. And then something happens and the child comes up dead. And so these mothers are devastated because if you had left my child where my child was, then my child would be fine. And then when they deal with these courts and whatnot, in order to get justice in the wrongful death of their children, the courts are like, oh, well, So if you find that this system of the children, selling black children, and that's what it's for. You have the state gets money from the federal government, the taxpayers, because they have such a Negro problem, and Negroes are bad parents, and so we have all these children, and so it becomes this same slave trade that it has been for the past 160 years under different names, where a person can get a quick check or go to, I think the program, the class that they have to take for foster parenting is like a day or day and a half or so. And you get the certificate that says you're a foster parent, and then you sign up on this list. And the more children that are on, in the facilities, then the process is, the corners are cut and the process is streamlined, as they put it, so that these children are being placed in these homes without very good monitoring, without very good background checks. And so when you see these children in these facilities, they're basically being raised like in the wild. There's very little structure. There's a lot of disagreements, which lead to fights, and the children usually end up with psychological problems because they didn't have their father, and now they don't have their mother. And so you're in this system where nobody really wants you. Everybody's just trying to get a check, and it gets really ugly. So by the time they turn 18, they are kicked out of the system because the system can't make any money off of them anymore. And you see these children, and some of them actually run away from the system or whatever. But you end up leaving the system and coming back with a family relative or whatever. But they come back with psychological problems, and like anyone would. And now they're looking for that family. They're looking for a place to be, a place to belong. And, of course, they group together and they become each other's posse. They become each other's friends, each other's family. And, of course, that means that now they're running in packs. They look like gangs. But, it's a situation that if us as supposedly out here to correct things, to fix the black community, try to ignore that aspect of the community, it will, as I told them today, come back to bite you. You have people like Bill Cosby, who had, money, gave his children, the best of everything. But it's the children that you leave behind that your children will end up having to face at some point. So I don't care how well you raise your child, at some point they're going to run into a child that was left behind. So we just, it's a tough job, but people have to understand that if you're really serious about fixing the black community, well, the children being out there is our fault. It's the fault of civil rights people. It's the fault of parents. It's the fault of black teachers. It's the fault of black politicians. It's the fault of black communities, period. You had black churches that cared more about donations than getting out here on the street and talking to these children. So we're saying that we're ready to fix this thing, and we're dealing with the black census, and if the black community is worse off today than it was 10 years ago, we're now working on January 1st, 2010 to December 31st, 2019. And the things that we do on a daily basis, 365 days over the next year and the next year and the next year, will determine whether the next 10 years are better than the last 10 years. So with that said, tomorrow we're going to be working on what is going on with our senior citizens. We have seen a lot of senior citizens kicked out of their senior facilities. We've seen a lot of senior citizens stripped of their savings, stripped of their homes, and homes that they have lived in forever. And we have black city council members actually teaming up with white companies and white corporations and white politicians to actually strip assets and resources from seniors in the black community. They make easy targets. So tomorrow we will definitely be talking about the things that have happened to our seniors and the things that we need to do in order to correct that situation. They've lost land, they've lost houses, they've lost income, they've lost savings, and that is our fault. So until we talk tomorrow, and I'm sure our discussion will be lively, but until then, we want to say all power to the people, and thank you so much once again for joining us.